one of the biggest games of the day was what happened in Alabama versus Florida State, Sam.
Let's revisit that, too, because it was really one of the biggest shockers so far. Alabama melted down in the Tallahassee humidity earlier today. There was some rain in the forecast as well. But Florida State, coming off that dismal 2-10 season, this was a prove-it game, guys, I think, for a variety of different reasons for both of these teams. But does this game and this outcome tell us more about where Alabama is now in year 2 under Kalen DeBoer, or does it tell us maybe more about where Florida State could be going in 2025?
I think both things really could be true, right? It's concerning for Kalen DeBoer because we knew that the expectations were going to be extremely high from what happened last year. I am a little disappointed with Kalen DeBoer and how he handled that press conference and kind of calling out Ty Simpson. And I can't wait to watch the film. I thought Ty did a lot of good things today, right? Now, I know throwing on the run and all that, we've discussed this. Yeah, that was definitely a problem. But I do think that he had a few bright moments. I'm concerned that the Alabama offensive line got overpowered and out-physicaled on numerous occasions in critical situations.
Which, by the way, all we heard all offseason was how good the offensive line was.
And they can't run the football, right? So you got a new starter in there. You can't run the football, right? It's tough to get Ryan Williams activated. Now, Jeremy Bernard was another highlight to it. So I thought Ty Simpson and Jeremy Bernard did some really good things. Were they consistent on offense? No, they weren't. I'm sure there's going to be plays that Ty missed. But overall, I'm a little disappointed with Kalen because your team looked flat. That's really what I'm getting to.
Today.
They looked flat. There was zero energy on the field. Florida State was ready to go. They looked like they were PO'd the entire game with the way that they played. Even Tommy Castellanos, his energy that he brought. I mean, it was just clear and obvious when you watch them play. That energy was pouring through the screen. So that's why I feel like Kalen DeBoer, kind of taking a shot at Ty Simpson. Being a former quarterback, I took that maybe a little personally, right? Because the truth is that your entire team really got outplayed and manhandled the entire football game. And their quarterback, who's getting his first start, did a lot of that, picking himself up from the ground, right, in a tough situation because they couldn't run the football. There he is, a designed quarterback run, and he's getting hawked down. Now, Florida State's got some legit talent. Earl Little reminded them how good he was, a former Alabama football player, played fantastic in the secondary. Very impressive start for Florida State with the energy that they played with.
Scoob, Alabama fans, I think, were willing to cut Kalen DeBoer some slack as he kind of transitioned away from the Nick Saban era. But there's really only so much patience, I think, that goes around in Tuscaloosa, title town, because that's the expectation, to win titles. So now in year 2, I mean, should we be changing our expectations of what this new Alabama looks like?
Well, the expectation is always going to be compete for a championship when you are at Alabama. But I think it is concerning if you're an Alabama fan to see some of the same things that Alabama struggled with last year show themselves once again this year. Penalties is one of the top things that I look at. Last year, Alabama was one of the worst teams in the country when you talk about penalty yardage per game. They averaged about 70 yards per game in terms of penalties. How many penalties yardage did they have today? 70 yards, 8 for 70. Plenty of personal fouls, holding calls, penalties that were really costly and put Florida State in a great position. And now this is the 4th loss for Kalen DeBoer to an unranked opponent in just 14 games at Alabama. Nick Saban had 4 on-field losses to unranked opponents in 17 games at Alabama. This is a whole new generation if you're an Alabama fan, and it's something that you're not trying to get used to. And I think there's a lot of things to be concerned about offensively, defensively. I saw Alabama's defense kind of pick it up in the second half, Matt.
They definitely played better in the second half. I totally agree with that. I'm wondering also if Gus Malzahn maybe took his foot off the gas just a little bit. I think that might be the biggest move that Florida State made this offseason, right? Adding Gus Malzahn, Tony White, the defensive coordinator. They went from a 4-down look to a 3-3-5 now. Way more speed on the field. That was the most glaring thing to me. Florida State looked really fast compared to Alabama. I said Earl Little earlier, right? Justin Cryer was all over the field as well. Elijah Herring played phenomenal. The additions of Deuce Robinson, he only had a few catches today, but like him, Mekhi Danzy, Squirrel White, they got a good mix of everything that they need on the offense side of the football, including a quarterback that can cut you up with his legs as well. So that's the biggest thing. Can they continue to stay balanced? Like Florida State's very similar to Auburn in that way, right? You got to keep your quarterback clean where they're not so prevalently focused on the pass game.
Yeah.
You got to use the legs and mix in the pass when you need it to stay balanced and to keep teams off guard. So, man, really impressive start by Gus Malzahn and the rest of the crew. Mike Norvell did a great job this offseason building this team back up.
Yeah, I just saw Johnny Martinez in our chat say that Florida State is going to go all the way this year. I mean, Florida State fans, you deserve it. Just 2 wins last year, getting screwed over.
I don't know about
with the playoffs. But right here is Mike Norvell.
That's
Matt,
your head
let him know
coach.
what this is, because you've been begging for this to come up in the show.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, who wouldn't want to play for a dude like that, right? I mean, like,
cornrows?
That's Allen Iverson at the quarterback position right there. The deuce with the cornrows. I mean, the kid's just oozing with swag. And listen, he was acting that way at the ACC Media Day. He had a lot of juice, and it carried over into week 1 against Alabama. So I'm pumped. And really, it's just a great reminder for us. 2-10 a year ago to now, man, we're already saying, oh, this is really impressive. This might be a team that's competing for a playoff spot. We were thinking that Clemson was an easy favorite in the ACC.
Yep.
Miami behind them. Man, look out. Florida State's got some dudes on their team.
But just remember, for everyone that's watching, the extended playoff gives room for error. You have some runway.
Right.
So if you're going to lose week 1, maybe lose week 2. It's going to be a little bit better if you do that and you have time to pick it up. And I think early on in the season, especially with Alabama having a new quarterback in Ty Simpson, that he's going to need to be able to get more comfortable, right? Because some of the things that I saw from him in the pocket were happy feet, right? And really the reason why he had happy feet is because he had a whole bunch of pressure in his face. He was 1 for 10 when he was pressured in this game. He was pressured for more than 31% of his dropbacks. Young quarterbacks do not like pressure. And when you speak about young quarterbacks, there's a lot of them around the college football world that got their start.
Young, old, doesn't matter. No quarterback likes pressure, man. You know, we don't like being hit. We like when our jerseys nice and clean, and we can do the post-game interview and say, hey, it was a good game. We executed at a high level. I still got to be better.
Is that the voice you would use in your post-game?
Not quite. Honestly, I didn't have that many successful outings for me to even have a press game interview that was worth it. So, but man, it was a great start to the year for him. It really was.